on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're talking about a very specific fragrance. We're talking about Bad Boy Dazzling Garden from Carolina Herrera. So the kind of stigma to the Bad Boy fragrances, aside from the two cobalts, is if you have one, you have them all. I do have the silver and gold bottles coming. It's the only two I'm missing. I will be doing a buying guide coming through. After I spend time with those two, I will be walking through the entire line in one video for you guys. But for the time being, I've been spending a good bit of time with this one. And I want to let you know that don't be deceived. While it starts off similar, it dries down a bit different. So we're going to dive into this one. Stay tuned. So when you first spray this one, I'll have the notes on screen, you're going to be reminded of Bad Boy right away, actually. Make sure I grab the right one. They're within reach. My Bad Boy fragrances are right there. You'll be reminded of the original Bad Boy Eau de Toilette. It has that cacao, chocolatey, vanilla, spicy type of DNA. Sweet designer. Easy to like and love and get compliments with and all that good stuff. If you like modern men's sweet designers, which I very much do. My wife loves when I wear them. I'm a fan. I like the modern men's perfumery style. Some guys like the old school stuff, which I appreciate and love too, but I like a little bit of everything. I like the variety when it comes to fragrance. And I definitely like the variety here because, believe it or not, there is variety between these two, because while it opens up this, it starts to dry down into kind of a sage bomb. It freshens up greatly. You do get a little bit of that aromatic sage smell at the top, almost giving it like a little hint of blue undertone, just a smidge. Then it starts to dry into very much a fresh, slightly woodsy, very aromatic type of dry down. It actually loses a lot of the sweetness from the original Bad Boy, believe it or not. That chocolatey cacao vanilla smell still present, but it fades to the background like big time. You would be surprised. I'm actually going to give it a little spritz out in the air because there's that cacao. That cacao is like the signature for this particular DNA. But it dries into a very sage-heavy, slight fresh, spicy, very aromatic touch of wood base. That's what the dry down ends up being. And you would think the sage would be on the top end of the fragrance when it's actually on the lower end, and you would think the sweets would hang around the longest, and they typically don't in this fragrance for me. I'm kind of surprised at that. So it becomes a very fresher and aromatic fragrance. Not as fresh as Bad Boy Cobalt, but it's also a very different fragrance from Bad Boy Cobalt. Of the ones that smell directly like the original, this is, from what I've tried so far now, I haven't tried the silver and gold bottles. I have the Extreme, the Le Parfum, and both Cobalts, plus Dazzling Garden currently that I've spent time with. Of the main ones that smell like Bad Boy, being Le Parfum, which dries into Bad Boy, starts off like a bag of weed, but dries into Bad Boy Extreme, which is a little better than Bad Boy, and Bad Boy Dazzling Garden, which is fresh aromatic Bad Boy. Best way to look at it. It's definitely the freshest of the bunch, and probably the most versatile, the most easy to wear during the day, where this is much more of a cooler weather or evening wear type of fragrance. This one can definitely do that as well, but this works better in slightly warmer situations, settings, and daytime. Still not a great high heat fragrance, but you know, spring daytime, fall daytime, cooler summer days, depending on where you live, totally works. As far as performance, it's strong. They're all strong. It's easily 8+ hours. I get plenty of longevity out of this one. The projection falls into that 1.5 to 2 hour range of moderate. It's never super strong, but it's pretty strong. That's why I call it moderate, like easily arm's reach, maybe a little bit better, especially in that first hour, maybe a little bit better than that, all the way into hour number 2 before it starts to get a lot closer to the skin, where it turns into more of a moderate to mild sillage, where it's hard to call it directly one or the other because it's not really strong whiffs and trail after the fact, but it's not really weak whiffs or non-existent whiffs and trail after the fact. So it falls in that moderate to mild, leaning more towards the moderate side because it's pretty prominent It'll constantly remind you. You get many opportunities, at least my experience has been many opportunities to rediscover it, just going through the wearing experience throughout your day of it just randomly hitting the nose. Because I don't spray in front of me when I wear fragrances like this. Only the freshest of stuff do I spray the front. Normally it's just sides of the neck, back of the neck, might do the arms and stuff. And that's what's been going on with this one, doing forearms, sides of the neck, back of the neck. I've been doing right around 5 to 7 sprays, typically 5 sprays for the most part. And yeah, performance I would call above average because the longevity definitely gives it a bump because it falls in like 8 to 9 hour range in longevity for me. That's why I say 8+ hours. And the projection, again, pretty stout, pretty pronounced without, definitely not a beast early on with sillage that's, again, pretty pronounced, not quite weak, not quite really strong either. So across the board, I would call it above average. Final thoughts on Bad Boy Dazzling Garden from Carolina Herrera. I really like this fragrance. I really like the entire line, honestly. I like it more than the original. I find it even more wearable than the original. And I know this is a lot of people's favorite. I get it. It's beautiful. It's great. All of them are great, except for the Le Parfum. Le Parfum, you got to want to smell like dirt weed. It is what it is, you know? I just kind of have it. Dries down great. Starts off bag of dirt weed, like sticks and stems. Not even quality stuff that you would get by the gram. It's like 20 sack back when you were a teenager. That's what Bad Boy Le Parfum smells like in the opening. Tell me I'm wrong. Lie to yourself and tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Anyways, I think this is a great fragrance. I think it's 8 out of 10 worthy. I think it's really good stuff. The performance is just right. Not obnoxious, but strong and pronounced. Lasts a long time. It freshens up a bit without just being too generic and too much more of the same in the line. Though it is more of the same, it gives enough of a twist and nuance to freshen things up, make it a little bit more accessible and wearable than previous iterations such as this one and the Extreme and definitely the Le Parfum. Again, I just have that just to have the line basically for reference. I don't like to wear it, but I think this is a great fragrance that's worth checking out. That's extremely underrated. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Bad Boy Dazzling Garden from Carolina Herrera. Until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you tried it? Do you disagree? Do you not like it? Did you not care for it? Do you think it's a great fragrance? I definitely think it's a great fragrance. Worth trying. Definitely not what you would expect with a name like Dazzling Garden. It's not a real floral fragrance outside of some sage. It's not real flowery or anything like that and powdery and all that good stuff. It's actually quite wearable, everyday kind of stuff. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on Bad Boy Dazzling Garden and you give it a spray now, you never know. You might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.